Good afternoon. My name is Specialist Weldon. I'm going to be going over the Army values and what they mean. Scope of this presentation. During this presentation, we will analyze the Army values. Learners will be taught to better understand what the values mean and why they pertain to leadership. Our action is discuss the Army values and the meanings behind them. Condition of this class is going to be a classroom environment. It's going to be given to motivated sergeants. The learners will refer to the slides presented to them and ask questions at the end of the presentation. I think the best way to understand how important the Army values are to go back to when our country was fragile in the Revolutionary War. It was the winter of 1777, and it was a disastrous time. The British had successfully retaken many key locations in the 13 colonies, and General Washington's men were left out in the cold of Valley Forge, Pennsylvania. No aid was expected to arrive for the Americans, but the English reinforcements have already landed. It's no exaggeration to say that in that moment, one cold breeze could have blown out the flames of the Revolution. Then, Baron Frederick Wilhelm von Steuben arrived. His goal was to transform a ragtag group of farmers and hunters into the world's premier fighting force. He taught these soldiers regulations and values of a professional army. He then transcribed his teachings into what every soldier knows today as the Blue Book. He gave birth to the modern Army values, and without them, the war may have been lost. If you spell out leadership, L-D-R-S-H-I-N-P, each one of those letters spells out the Army values: loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. The values apply to every soldier who wears the uniform, no matter the rank. The Army values are leadership, and leadership is the Army values. Army leaders need to understand the values so leaders can properly guide their soldiers in the right direction. There is a reason the Army values were one of the first things soldiers learned in the Army. In this presentation, the Army values will be explored individually in order to better understand what they mean and how leaders should use them. Beginning with loyalty. The definition of loyalty is giving or showing firm and constant support or allegiance to a person or institution. Loyalty can be defined in military terms as a soldier who supports the leadership and stands up for fellow soldiers. A leader will use this as guidance on respect for their leaders and the soldiers under them, as respect is earned by leaders, it is not given. Duty. It's a moral or legal obligation, and it's a responsibility. Duty is to fulfill your obligations, such as completing your task. But duty means more than carrying out your individual assigned task. Duty is accomplishing tasks as a part of a team. Leaders need to understand this in order to be able to work cohesively with a team, to build relationships and trust, to have outstanding team composition. Respect. A feeling of deep admiration for someone or something elicited by their abilities, qualities, or achievements. Treat people as they should be treated. In the Soldier's Code, we pledge to treat others with dignity and respect while expecting others to do the same to us. This is a shortened definition of what respect means. A leader has to respect their soldiers. An example of respect is to treat everyone fairly and to not show favoritism. This may be one of the most important Army values in regards to leadership. You have to have respect. Selfless service. Putting the welfare of others, and especially the citizens you volunteered to protect, above your own, even if that means you don't get everything you feel you deserve. I'm going to read a quote. Put the welfare of the nation, the Army, and your subordinates before your own. And if you're thinking to yourself that it sounds familiar, then you would be right, because it's in the NCO Creed. The NCO Creed states that you must place your soldiers' needs before your own. A good leader is a selfless leader. Honor. Adherence to what is right or to a conventional standard of conduct. Honor is a matter of carrying out and living the Army values in everything you do. In summary, a good leader must and will be a living example of the Army values. Integrity. The quality of being honest and having strong moral principles, as well as moral uprightness. A good leader will not lie. They will always do the right thing, no matter the situation. This is the foundation of integrity. And without it, no soldier can ever become a successful leader. It is said that a liar will never be trusted unless it's a politician, and I believe that. Personal courage. The ability to control your fear in a dangerous or difficult situation and to be brave and confident enough to do what you believe in. In short, it's the act of facing fear and adversity, physically or mentally, and coming out on top. An example could be as simple as being on a battlefield and placing yourself in harm's way for the greater good. But I believe the example that best describes the everyday soldier can be outlined as a leader who defends a soldier from a higher ranking leader, knowing that he or she can get in trouble, but that NCO believes that it's an honorable cause, and that's why that NCO is willing to risk getting in trouble. In conclusion, a great leader is the embodiment of the Army values and cannot succeed without all of them being used together. The Army values were created for a reason, and they need to be trusted that the reason is for the betterment of the United States Army. When asked about what soldiers see in a leader, General Powell said this: "The most important thing I learned is that soldiers watch what their leaders do. You can give them classes and lecture them forever, but it is your personal example that they will follow." And I believe that these words are powerful, and that's the foundation of this presentation and why we are all here. So all soldiers must follow the Army values and abide by the rules in place, but a leader has to be the Army values. When a soldier looks at a leader, they should see a soldier. They should not see an individual in a soldier's uniform. At the end of the day, a soldier does not learn how to be a leader by reading. They learn it by watching. And we as leaders have to be worth watching. Thank you. Are there any questions?